Hello, and welcome to a new episode of From the Honeycomb, a podcast that creates a spark of positive energy. Here we discuss all things architecture and design, to travel, exploring Vastu Shastra with a modern approach, and I connect with other like-minded women to share their story. I am your host, Katerina, and welcome to From the Honeycomb. Today is the day. It is official that I will be offering Vastu Shastra consultation. Whether you are designing a brand new home or looking to understand how to balance your existing home, I can guide you in creating a living space that not only reflects your personal style, but also resonates with the positive energies according to Vastu principles. Now, if you're brand new to Vastu, don't worry. In today's episode, I'll give a brief intro into this ancient Vedic science that has really captivated me over the last few years. Now, if you've listened to a few of my episodes about Vastu, then first, thank you so much for listening to those. A lot of research goes into them. And second, stay tuned because I'm going to expand your knowledge of Vastu in today's episode as well. As you know, we begin every episode by sharing something that we are grateful for in the present moment. And what I'm really grateful for right now is living so close to the beach. This past summer, I have been able to go to the beach so many times. We've had incredible, beautiful weather here along the coast of Southern California. And actually, after this recording, I will be going to the beach. And so that's why I'm just so grateful for it. I am a Pisces. I love the water. I love the ocean. Put me near a body of water and I will be near it, in it. I just absolutely love being in the water. And the ocean has been so healing for me this past year. I think going through some health struggles, in the winter months, I have been longing to be able to go swimming in the ocean. I haven't been able to take baths, which I absolutely love doing. And so being able to go into the ocean and just swim or float or, just be in the ocean water has been so, so therapeutic. And that is something that I am just so beyond grateful to live close by, and I definitely do not take it for granted how lucky I am. I live about, just for reference, so you know how close, probably 1.5 miles from the beach, the closest beach. So what is that, like a little over 2 kilometers? We've also walked to the beach with Jesse. So it's very close, and I am so beyond grateful for that. Okay, so what is Vastu? Vastu is a Vedic science that originated thousands of years ago in India. Now, other Vedic sciences you may be familiar with are Ayurveda and yoga. Well, Vastu is the science of structures, and it's based on the directions, the 5 elements, planets, deities, and mathematics. And by applying certain Vastu principles, you will know how to construct on your property, whether it's a new or existing building, both residential or commercial. Now, my focus is specifically residential. I focus on the directions, the elements, the element theory, and mathematics. And I also take into account Vastu principles with a modern approach. Now, keep in mind, Vastu will not change your destiny. You have to think of it as like a support system. There may be hard times in your life with, things going on. And so I want you to see Vastu as like an external support system that will help you ride out the waves of challenging times. Now, my journey with Vastu started in about 2018 when I was introduced to this ancient Vedic science. And from that moment, I have been so fascinated with Vastu. And it's really merged 2 of my passions, which is architecture and yoga. Since then, I've been taking courses, reading books, researching for podcast episodes, and really being able to learn as much as I possibly can about Vastu. Okay, so now here's where I'm going to expand your knowledge if you're a longtime listener. So in previous episodes, I've talked about the 4 quadrants: northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Through my recent studies and taking an advanced course and really delving deeper into Vastu, deeper than I've ever delved before, I have learned that there are 16 directions. So we're uncovering layers and layers of Vastu principles. Now, here are the 16 directions. So here we go. North, north, northeast, northeast, east, northeast, east, east, southeast, southeast, south, southeast, south, south, southwest, southwest, west, southwest, west, west, northwest, northwest, and north, northwest. Oh, okay, that's a lot of directions, right? Now, each of these directions have their own set of principles to follow, depending on if a bedroom should be located there, a kitchen, or a study, and really what are the things to avoid in these areas of your home. Okay, so we got 16 directions. Now, we had the four, which is kind of like the traditional Vastu, kind of covering that first layer. Then the deeper you dive, there's 16 directions. Now, let's dive a little deeper. And this is going to probably knock your socks off. There are 32 different entrance locations into your home, and each location of these can have a huge impact on your home. That's a lot of information, right? I have been absolutely just blown away by how much more Vastu there information there is, and it has been incredibly eye-opening, and I am just so much more fascinated with this ancient Vedic science. It has become such an interest of mine, and I am just delving deeper and deeper and expanding my knowledge. And so that's why I'm really excited to be sharing with you that I am now a Vastu consultant, and I'm excited to be able to offer those services to you. Now, with that being said, I found that the more I learn about Vastu, it's amazing how much information is out there, right? Which has been eye opening, like I just said, but it's actually been kind of frustrating at times because I've been finding contradicting information, especially out there on the internet. So I started to think about it. And, Vastu has been around for thousands of years, and it has constantly been evolving. And I found that certain Vastu principles apply depending on where in India you are. There are parts of India that view Vastu principles more conservatively, while others have a more modern approach. One example I gave in a previous episode about Vastu is how Vastu has had to modernize and evolve, over the last 150 years, 100 years. It's well known in Vastu that you should avoid having a toilet in the northeast area of the home because it will affect your finances. Well, when you think about it, decades ago, the toilet was not part of the main house. It was an outhouse located away from that main structure. But with the introduction of indoor plumbing, Vastu principles had to change because now we have toilets within our house. And so, this is why when I approach my Vastu studies, I do it with a modern approach because there is some text I found that may not align with as well as, modern thoughts about gender roles and things like that. So, keeping in mind, it is an ancient Vedic science. It's been around for thousands of years and it has had to evolve. And also because I practice architecture in the United States, I have to take a different approach as well because it is something also that differs culturally. A lot of the principles make sense for homes built in India and the way family structures are in India. So it's been very, very interesting learning more about the Indian culture through the studies with Vastu Shastra. Now, back to how it's modernizing. I don't want to jump around too much, but think of all the technology out there that has become a part of the home environment from, the electrical stuff we have, the TVs, the speakers, the AV systems. I mean, we are modernizing the computer systems. We are modernizing our homes. Okay, well, if you ask me, where should I put my electrical panel based on Vastu? When, 100 years ago, we didn't have to worry about an electrical panel and the location. And so when you think about it, there's also future innovations that are going to become part of that built environment, and we need to account for them. So Vastu is really going to be evolving even more. So it's just, I don't know. That's one thing I love about it is it's constantly, you're learning more, things are developing, growing. And that's one of the reasons I love architecture is because in architecture, once you've learned something, there are so many more depths, so many layers to it. I mean, you can never stop learning in architecture. And there's just so much to learn. And that's one of the reasons, again, like I love it. And with Vastu, it's just, looking through more and more layers of information and really learning, how to interpret certain principles and how they apply to a certain home. There's so much that goes into play, not just the principles, but of Vastu, but also, the occupants of the home and then their astrological signs. And so it's incredible information and it's been so, so insightful. And I'm just so excited. I'm so energized about it. Like I said, it's combined two of my favorite things, yoga, architecture, and I'm just so, so happy to be sharing it with you. So, Whether you are designing a brand new home or you're looking to understand how to balance your existing home, I can guide you in creating living spaces that not only reflect your personal style, but also resonate with those positive energies according to Vastu principles. So I'm going to be offering 3 services. Service number 1, if you have an existing home, this could be a house, an apartment, a flat, a condo, and you would like me to analyze and study the existing conditions to see how we can balance these energies of your home. You may have something in your life that you feel like needs to be looked at or fixed. Maybe you're having financial issues or health issues, or since you've moved into this home, you've been arguing with your partner lately, and you want to know if Vastu can help. To get the most out of this service, I highly recommend you have a floor plan of your existing home, which I know may be difficult for some to be able to find. So that's why I'm actually offering a 15-minute free consultation that you can book with me. It's complimentary. It'll be linked through on the website in the show notes. You guys will be able to put together or meet with me for a 15-minute consultation, and we can look at what information you do have, because the more accurate information I can get, depending on your floor plan, the more benefits you will get out of this service. So that's if you have an existing home, you don't plan on remodeling, you don't plan on building new construction, this will be an option for me to work with you. Option number 2, service number 2. Let's say you're designing a brand new home and you would like to incorporate Vastu into the design. Now, keep in mind, I'm only licensed as an architect in the state of California, so I can only put my stamp on drawings in California. But I can design your home anywhere in the world. What you would do is you would be receiving schematic drawings, so floor plans, elevations, that you can then give to a licensed architect in your area, and they can use those plans to create drawings to submit for permit issuance and have them built. Now, there's also the option if you'd like for me to stay on during construction. Sometimes changes happen during construction. I can also stay on as your Vastu consultant. I also, if you have an architect on board as well, I guess this option kind of works as well as if you already have an architect on board and you would just like me to look at the spaces and see how they work with Vastu principles, that's something we absolutely can discuss. Again, there's that 15-minute free complimentary consultation with me. That's something we can discuss in that consultation. Now, number 3 is kind of a mix of you're thinking about remodeling your home, maybe you're adding onto your home, and you want to know if the placement of the space will affect the energies of your home. So that's kind of an idea. If, I think that one will really benefit with that free 15-minute, complimentary consultation, because we can look at what you're thinking about doing and see how can I be beneficial to you as well, to make sure that, whatever changes you're doing or anything like that, I'm beneficial to you, and it makes sense to have me on as your Vastu consultant. Now, pricing. Pricing. As a lot of you know in architecture, pricing varies so much. You can do fixed price, square footage prices. I will have pricing up on my website, so follow the link in the show notes and then look on the tab. Once you get onto my website, under Vastu, that's where you will see the services and some starting pricing. But depending on the size of your home, even if it's existing or new, if it's a 1-bedroom apartment, that's obviously going to be a different price than a 5-bedroom or 6-bedroom, 3-story home. So that's again something we can talk about in that 15-minute free consultation that you will be able to discuss with me. We can look at options, we can talk about pricing, and kind of see where, again, we can have that the benefit of me coming on as your Vastu consultant. So if you have any questions or you want to review what the best option is for you, like I said, I've got that free 15-minute consultation where we can go over the best approach for your home. So what's the benefit of having me work with you is not only am I going to be able to guide you through the Vastu principles and how they can be applied to your home, but I am a licensed architect, which means when I do my designs, the Vastu designs, I'm also taking into account the functionality of the spaces, the aesthetics, practicality of construction. I do take into account structural, the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems. I take all of that into account. I'm not just designing something that won't be able to not be built. So I do take into that account all of that knowledge from architecture and apply it with Vastu and kind of have that be a melting pot. So yeah, so I'm very excited to be sharing this new venture with you. Vastu, like I said, has been something I have been incredibly invested in, learning as much as I can. And now I have the opportunity to use my knowledge to better your home, which is such an honor. Now, with the launch of these services, my Vastu consultation services, I will be doing a giveaway on my Instagram this week. One lucky person will win a free consultation of their existing home. So be sure to keep your eye out for that. I will be doing that giveaway on Instagram this week. And I look forward to creating a Vastu home for you, and I'm excited to work with you. It's going to be fun. It'll be exciting. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of From the Honeycomb podcast. I would love if you left a review and rated the episode. You can click the follow button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes. You can follow me on Instagram at From the Honeycomb podcast. You can also support the podcast through the Patreon link in the show notes. Your support makes more of From the Honeycomb podcast episodes possible. There's also my monthly newsletter, which you can subscribe to, that comes out once a month, where I share a personal message with you, also some intellectual architectural articles, a Vastu Shastra tip of the month, and we also have a book month, so that comes out every 7th of the month. Thank you so much, and see you next Friday.